let's go to Abuja, where our first guest is already waiting. For all matters relating to the senatorial electoral quagmire in Imo State and the renewed resolve of Nigeria's election management body to improve its processes ahead of the 2023 general election, we are now being joined from Arise Abuja studio by Dr. Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Commission's Information and Voter Education Committee. Dr. Okoye, good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Well, it's good to have you with us. Quickly, let's start with the very controversial issue of Imo State. INEC recently conducted by-elections, but Imo State turned out to have been the most controversial, whereby even the PDP has issued a statement saying they find it difficult to understand a situation whereby a party without candidates in the election will be declared the winner. Is there anything in the Electoral Act or the Constitution that says, you know, when your two candidates have been ignored or neglected or rejected by a court of law, then you can still go ahead and then declare a party without candidates as winner of an election? We'll need a clarification in that regard. Could the INEC have acted differently in the circumstance?
In analyzing the challenge in the Imo North Senatorial District election, it's important to put the issue in context. Now, after the APC party primaries, the All Progressives Congress submitted the name of Francis Chukwuma Ibezim to the Independent National Electoral Commission as the candidate of the political party. And the commission duly, in accordance with the Electoral Act, Section 31 of the Electoral Act, published the name of Francis Chukwuma Ibezim as the candidate of the All Progressives Congress. Now, thereafter, one lady, Uchenna Oba, went to the Federal High Court Owerri and got an order to the effect that Francis Chukwuma Ibezim was not the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, and the court made an order that the person who won the party primaries in that particular context was Senator Ifeanyi Ararume. And we were ordered to replace the name of Francis Chukwuma Ibezim with that of Senator Ifeanyi Ararume. And the Independent National Electoral Commission duly complied with that particular order. Now, based on this, we went into this particular election. We mobilized both sensitive and non-sensitive materials and moved to the field. In fact, on Thursday, being the third day of December, all our sensitive and non-sensitive, all our non-sensitive materials left the central bank for the various local governments and to the various registration areas. Now, on the fourth day of December, on the eve of the election, the commission was served with a court order from the Court of Appeal sitting in Owerri to the effect that the Federal High Court that gave the order that Senator Ararume should be placed on the ballot did not have should be placed on the list of candidates, did not have the requisite jurisdiction to entertain the matter, and the case was accordingly struck out. So that reverted the commission to the status quo. So the commission returned the name of Chukwuma Francis Ibezim as the candidate of the party. Now, later in the evening of the same day, on the eve of the election, the commission was also served with another court order from the Federal High Court in Abuja in a suit that was instituted by one Asomugha Tony Elebeke to the effect that the said Francis Chukwuma Ibezim was not eligible to be nominated and was not qualified to contest the election. And so after having been served with that particular order, we now remove the name of Francis Chukwuma Ibezim as the candidate of the party. But in making that order, there was no specific order by either the Court of Appeal in Owerri or the Federal High Court in Abuja that we should remove the name and logo of the APC as a political party. And that was why we left the logo and the name of APC on the ballot. You will realize that when you go to the polling unit on election day, the ballot paper that the voter receives does not have the name of any candidate. What you have will be the logo and the name of a political party. So in accordance with Section 221 of the Constitution, voters go and vote for political parties during the election and not necessarily candidates, because the contest is between political parties, because it's only political parties that can vouch for votes for candidates in election. So the primary vehicle is through political parties. So since we didn't have any specific order to that effect, we decided that it was in the best interest of the electoral process to leave the political party on the ballot, because one of the candidates had quickly went to the Supreme Court to file a motion and also file a motion to file an appeal and also file a motion for stay of execution. So at the end of the day, since political parties are the ones that contest elections, we decided, or the coalition/stroke returning officer decided to declare the APC as the winner of the election without making a return, because it is at the point of making a return that you unveil the list submitted by the political parties where you see the candidates. But until the return is made, you will not see the name of any candidate. You will see only the logo and the name of political parties. And that was exactly what we did.
Right, so the people of Imo North are still in limbo. The Misters Ararume and Ibezim are still in limbo. I imagine they'll thrash this out in courts. It's just so bizarre. If we look at by-elections as barometers, which is what they are, as a pointer towards what's going to happen in the next general election of 2023, there's cause for concern. This situation you just highlighted, what happened in Zamfara State, Bakura State constituency, I'd like you to talk about that. And then some of your comments about some people trying to reject the smart card readers. Who were those people? Was it political parties or was it voters? Another disturbing comment that I read from you was that in Lagos State, some people tried to extort money from INEC officials before allowing voting to take place. Can we discuss the current political climate that you witnessed organizing this by-elections?
There were so many permutations relating to the by-elections we conducted in 15 constituencies and in 11 states of the Federation. In some of the senatorial districts, the elections went smoothly. But in some of the small constituencies, the Commission experienced very serious challenges. Like the one you referred to in Bakura State constituency of Zamfara State. In some of the polling units, the voters on their own rejected the use of the smart card reader. And when you reject the use of the smart card reader, or when you undermine the usage of the smart card reader, our process and procedure presupposes that voting has taken place in that particular polling unit, and we give 0 vote to that particular polling unit, and we move on. The implication is that no matter what happens, we cannot go back to that particular polling unit, because it is taken that that particular polling unit has already voted. We also experienced violence in that Bakura State constituency, where 8 of our staff were abducted from the registration area centers, where they were kept overnight before being deployed at the first light on Saturday, being the 5th day of December. And then there was also cases of overvoting, cases of violence, and so on in that particular constituency. That accounts for why we had to order for more or less supplementary election in 14 of the polling units in Bakura. And when we went back to those 14 polling units, it was also very, very tough. But the military, the police, and other security agencies had to provide cover to enable us conduct election. And you know, that particular constituency is also in the corridor where bandits operate. So even after the elections, when the votes were being moved, the bandits also blocked the road, but they had to be cleared by combined team of the military and the police and other security agencies. Now, in places like Cross River, we had the election in Cross River North Senatorial District. in some of the places where you had communal challenges, we found it very, very difficult to deploy. In Lagos East, in some one of the communities, the youth claim that since we pay money to call members to enable them act as ad hoc staff, that since we are conducting elections in their constituencies, that we have to pay them before we deploy. But the quick intervention of the security agencies and community leaders made it possible for us to deploy. So there are a lot of challenges. People are trying to undermine the use of the smart card reader, and the Commission will not allow anybody to undermine the use of the smart card reader. And going towards the 2023 elections, we are going to enhance the power and the capacity of the smart card reader by introducing other solutions that will make it impossible for anybody whose name is not on the voters register to attempt to vote. So what some of the political parties are doing, what some of the candidates are doing, is that they are trying to anticipate the Commission, because we have now started uploading results from the polling units. The election riggers and those who manipulate the electoral process have now left the collation centers and then moved back to the polling units in order to go and create challenges at the polling units. So what the Commission is doing is that in terms of uploading polling unit results, we are also introducing other measures and other mechanisms that will make it impossible for election riggers to anticipate what we are going to do at a particular point in time. So we are going to remain ahead of them, and we assure Nigerians that as we move towards the 2023 elections, that the Commission will introduce new innovations, very creative innovations that will make our elections credible.
Right. Well said, sir. Two things. Number one, I'd like to just pick out, lessons. When you look back at this episode of the by-election, things you could have even done better. I'd like to know that from you. And secondly, the spokesperson of the party, PDP, was here yesterday, and he said concerning the Lagos elections, they're still looking at it very critically. I don't know, maybe when we're done looking at it, they'll give us more information on that. Is there anything you learned about the Lagos elections? And 2021 will be another round of elections. I think Anambra is on the horizon. So that election, you said a lot of technology was going to be deployed. What are we looking forward to in 2021, those elections?
You talked in terms of lessons learned.
Yeah.
One of the big lessons we learned was that there is the need for proper mapping of our constituencies. When we went to places like Cross River North, we discovered that in some of the polling units, you need human carriers to take people up the hill. And some of these things we didn't factor into our planning and into our processes. So we are going to properly map out our constituencies in terms of difficult terrain, and also to make it possible for people to have all the necessary gadgets required to overcome the challenges in difficult terrains. The second issue relates to amending the electoral legal framework. The National Assembly is moving speedily to amend the electoral legal framework to plug some of the lacuna and loopholes we have in the law. And we are going to cooperate with them fully. And we have submitted far-reaching proposals to the National Assembly on aspects of the Electoral Act we feel should be amended. But coterminous to that is the fact that there are also provisions of the Constitution that impact heavily on the electoral legal framework. And we're also looking at taking a second look at some of the provisions of the Constitution, especially provisions relating to the determination of pre-election disputes. At present, somebody who wants to file a pre-election matter has 14 days from the period the cause of action arose to file a matter. Then the Court of First Instance has 180 days to make a determination, and then the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have 60 days apiece to make a determination. And this dovetails into the actual conduct of elections, and is creating very serious challenges for the Electoral Commission. So we are looking at a situation where we are going to have all pre-election matters determined at least 14 days before a general election, so that people will go into the election knowing who their candidates are. In a place like Cross River, in one of the collation centers, the agents of some of the political parties had difficulty on who will sign the result sheets, because as at that moment, some of the voters did not know who the actual candidate of the party was. So there should be some level of certainty as we move towards the 2023 elections. And we're also making preparations as at now for the introduction of electronic voting machine in our electoral system. And just before our chairman exited and came back, we had invited over 40 companies with different solutions to come and demonstrate their various solutions to us. At the end of the day, we are going to pick a solution that is smart, the one that we fit into our environmental and electoral framework, and also the one that will give us a solution that we take into consideration the literacy level in our country, and also the one that combines real electronic voting with some paper trail, so that we can properly edit our electoral system as we go towards 2023.
Okay, well, two quick issues. In Zamfara, the APC has gone to court to reject the result of the December 8 rerun of the election. I don't know whether INEC is following that closely. But in Imo, which was the one we talked about earlier, where does this leave the people of Imo North Senatorial District? Does it mean that they will have to wait until the legal process is exhausted? You said INEC has not made any return. Couldn't it have been possible for INEC to declare the election in that Imo North Senatorial District perhaps inconclusive? Is it possible to declare a result without a candidate?
I think it... Yeah, you know, if you look at the case of Amechi versus INEC that was decided in 2008, the Supreme Court made it very clear that we don't have independent candidature in Nigeria.
No, I
the
get
Supreme
that
Court
point.
also made it very clear
earlier. Sorry,
yes.
Dr. Okoye, you explained that earlier. That's very clear. But what I'm saying is, okay, what now happens? Can the party, the APC now after the fact, just go and pick someone else and say, okay, this is our candidate, since it is the party that won the election? Or we will all have to wait until the legal challenge is exhausted, the legal process is exhausted, even if it takes the next 5 years, before the people of Imo North Senatorial District can have someone representing them in the Senate. When I say 5 years, I exaggerate, of course.
Yes. The three things may likely happen in relation to the Imo North Senatorial District election. One of the candidates is already in the Supreme Court. And the issue in the Supreme Court is whether the Federal High Court had jurisdiction to entertain the matter in the first place, and whether the matters that were decided falls within the domestic realm of the party. If the Supreme Court agrees that or determines that the Court of First Instance has jurisdiction to entertain the matter, the implication is that Senator Ifeanyi Ararume becomes the candidate of the party and will now be returned as duly elected. If, on the other hand, the Supreme Court determines that the Court of Appeal was right in striking out the matter and that the Court of First Instance does not have jurisdiction to entertain the matter, that means that Senator Ifeanyi Ararume is out of the context. Now, in relation to the matter in the Federal High Court, Abuja, if the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, so to say, makes a determination that the Francis Chukwuma Ibezim was not qualified to contest the election, the implication is that the APC does not have a candidate in the election. That will now leave the commission with no option than to declare the party with the highest number of lawful votes as the winner of the election. But if, on the other hand, in relation to the matter filed in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, if it goes up to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court makes a determination that Chukwuma Francis Ibezim was qualified to contest the election, the implication is that the commission will now declare Francis Chukwuma Ibezim as the winner of that particular election. So ultimately, it is the cost that will determine this particular matter. Because if you look at where we have the list of candidates, for the APC, we only left the logo and name of the party there with a caveat by court order. So it's very clear to us that the cost we have the final say in relation to who is the candidate of the party. And you know, because of the timelines we have in the determination of electoral matters, the Court of Appeal has 60 days to make a determination, and the Supreme Court has 60 days to make a determination. So I believe that very soon, the people of Imo State, we know Imo North Senatorial District, we know who their true representative is.
There is also a fourth scenario, because the PDP in Imo State is rejecting the result. And they are saying that INEC would need to explain why it cancelled over 20,000 votes in Obawa local government area. There are other issues we could have talked about.
So many.
Including voter apathy, poor turnout,
so many
and
issues.
all of that. But we want to thank you very much. You've been able to deal with some of the issues of concern. Thank you very much, Dr. Okoye.